Hey, you. You're so funny. Hello, hello, darlings. Yes. Okay, looks like I am live. Let me switch to Zoom. Down. Okay, here I am. Hi, guys. Just a few seconds to set up this fabulous technology. Oh, I'm excited about this topic, of course. Let's see, let me take a look. If you see me looking down, I'm checking your comments on my phone. Hi, guys, I've missed you. Sometimes I just feel inspired to go live in the evening. Sometimes it's in the morning. So today it's in the evening, and the topic is entrepreneurship, seeing yourself as an entrepreneur. And then the dark night of the soul of your business and how to navigate that. And you guys feel free to post your comments and your questions. Just gonna see them here. Hi, darling. Oh, okay, wonderful. Now I can see who is joining. Hi, you guys. How are you? How are you? We're gonna go somewhere. You know what I mean, you guys? I have 5 points that I outlined for you, but I'm willing to let it all go and just be totally in the moment. Because the principle number one that I keep discovering that is really real in my life as an entrepreneur is my ability to trust the moment and my ability to be at peace and serenity with not knowing how the next moment will come. And I don't need to know because I trust it unconditionally. So this is number one. Hi, you guys. Good to see you. It's my evening community here. Hello, darlings. Hello. So we're gonna go somewhere, and we're gonna go somewhere deep. I have a feeling, because as you guys know, I like to just go to the root. I don't like beating around the bush. I cannot even stand on the surface even if I tried. It's not in my DNA. So this topic was born. Jason says, I'm here just for dancing. Thanks, Jason. Love it. Love it. I appreciate your sense of humor. And you are an entrepreneur yourself. So the dark night of the soul in your business is part of the experience, you guys. And the more you accept that, as the dark night of the soul, when it comes, you accept that as a powerful process of transformation and a powerful opportunity to go through a death and rebirth cycle, just like in your normal. Hold on, Gracie, I'm here. Hold on, you guys. I have a lot going on here, distractions. But something in this topic attracted you, right? Something in this topic. And you guys, a lot of times you hear me speak on spiritual topics. You hear me share messages for the soul, how to step into your divinity. I love esoteric topics. And I have this other passion of mine, and it's all about really sovereignty and creating a lifestyle, creating a life where you feel completely free to express yourself in the way that you want to express yourself, free to live where you want to live, right? So my ultimate mission is to support people in remembering and embodying their full sovereignty, being your own free being. The freedom is everything for me. So dark night of the soul, yes, Mark says, good Halloween theme. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It comes in business. You know, you guys, it comes in business. And the more at peace I am with that fact, the more, um, the better I can navigate that with presence and openness. So, darlings, recently, this passion of mine for entrepreneurship has come back in a new way. I took a break. I really did. I was like, you know what? I'm only going to focus on the spiritual stuff. And it's funny because sometimes you just got to let some part of your business breathe. You got to like put it on the back burner and allow it to regenerate in a new way. So I'm feeling this new inspiration to share more entrepreneurial topics with a deep spiritual foundation. And I notice, you know, who are the people who are attracted to my transmissions, to my videos, to my shares. And it's usually kind of like two archetypes. Somebody who is very, very spiritually advanced, but having very little growth in the business arena, or very little skill in entrepreneurial arena, right? Or somebody who is very skilled in entrepreneurship and in the business level, but who is looking for more of that spiritual essence and spiritual depth, right? Hi, Tony. Yes, sovereignty. Hi, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, you know, it's these two archetypes, and they both experience the death and rebirth cycles, which I love talking about them. They're part of life, you know, and the more you embrace that every time you allow this old identity to die, you allow there's something new to be born in you, right? And the first time you go through that cycle, it's deeply uncomfortable and disorienting and very isolating. But the more you allow the process to occur, the more you're able to go to the true essence of who you are in a way. So I'm gonna wait a few more seconds because I see a lot more people to join. So you guys, you have any questions, let me know in the comments. But the dark night of the soul in business, that topic was born today out of a conversation with one of my students. And the dark night of the soul comes where whatever you've built is not fulfilling for you anymore. Has anybody been there? I called it reluctant leader archetype takes a central stage in your life. And the transition between, you know, what has been and what is yet to be born can be difficult and challenging and full of unknown, right? So the dark night of the soul in your business is a really powerful time to connect with your bigger reason of why you are on the path. You know, when I began this journey of entrepreneurship 4.5 years ago, I approached it with a longer perspective. You know, I said, what is my big why? And it's very powerful when you decide on that big why and when you really do the work to get to that real reason, right? So freedom for me was the surface reason. I wanted to have freedom. I wanted to work from everywhere, anywhere in the world. I wanted to make my own schedule. I wanted to be free. So that was the surface level. The deeper reason was when I kept asking myself, well, what's my why? I'm about to embark on this really courageous journey of ultimate unknown. And I'm embarking on it by myself. There is no support. You know, there's nobody cushioning my way. It's me, my dream, and my audacity to go for it. And when you begin on the entrepreneurship path, I would say most of the time it's you and your dream and your audacity to go for it, right, you guys? So it's very, very key to get to the real reason why you're starting this journey. Because when the dark night of the soul of your business will come, and it's only a matter of time when it's going to come, you can lean into that essence of the real motivation, of the real commitment. So for me, you guys, and I would love to see it in your comments. I would love to see it in your comments. What's your reason why? Doesn't matter if you've been an entrepreneur 5 months or 50 years. You know, there's this core reason why. So for me, it was this one simple reason. Who am I going to become during this journey? Who am I going to become? You know, these were the lenses through which I saw every single challenge, every single detour, every single obstacle, every single difficult feedback. Some people call it failure. I call it difficult feedback, you know, a tough one to swallow. And that reason why kept me going. And I actually have a 2-minute video clip to share with you guys. And I've never done this before on a live stream on Facebook, but I have the whole technology going. So I'm going to share with you a 2-minute video clip. And it's really, really powerful. You know, it's a very famous poem. It's called "If You're Gonna Start, Go All the Way." Some of you have seen it. So let me see how I can do that. I'm gonna stop my video for 1 second and switch to the clip. So bear with me, you guys. All right. Okay. I think there's a little feedback. Okay, here it is. Here it is, you guys. There's a little delay, but it's gonna be worth it, I promise you. And you can share, you can save this clip. Okay, here it is. You guys ready? Let's do this.
Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. You can't beat death, but you can beat death in life. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. There are ways out. There is a light somewhere. If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision, mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds. And it will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. There is no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. All the way. All the way. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is.
All right, darlings, I am back. I really love this little video, because there will be moments on the journey where you want to give up. And if you don't have those moments, you are not going after your biggest dream. That's just, the truth that I came to terms with. So you will want to give up, and it's going to be hard, and it's actually going to be much longer than you anticipate, and it's going to be much harder than you anticipate, especially in the beginning. And you guys, this is the power of having that clarity and having that honest conversation with you. When I started my business, I said, okay, what's the average to build a community, to establish myself as an influencer, as an expert in my field, to develop my business skills, right? To navigate this online digital industry. And I said, okay, conservatively speaking, it's going to be 5 years. 5 years of not being paid, 5 years of having almost no social life, right? 5 years of extreme focus where you are zeroed in on developing yourself in so many areas at once. And it's deeply uncomfortable for an adult, because for an adult to learn from scratch, to start from zero, you feel a lot of inadequacy because you don't get some skill right away, right? You're not like a child who falls 50 times and keeps getting up. For adults, we have more accumulated belief systems of how we supposed to get something right and get something fast. So the very powerful distinction that I've learned on the path, you guys, take it if it resonates with you and let it go if it doesn't, is to always give yourself much longer estimate of how long it's going to take you. So for me, I was at peace. I'm like, it's going to take me 5 years, conservatively speaking. And am I willing to sign up for a 5-year journey? Am I willing to work freelance jobs? Am I willing to do whatever I got to do to support myself while I am accumulating and developing these powerful business skills? And every skill I develop is a new step towards my ultimate freedom, towards my ultimate why. Who is this dream is going to help me to become? So I see the challenge in for example, in the coaching community, because I'm a part of that community, is this marketing message that is very, how to say that, it doesn't serve people, and it's this marketing message that you get your message out in the world, you tell your story, and everything is smooth and everything is fine, and you're going to become, famous and successful in 90 days, right? And I think it's really, really inadequate, and it's not grounded. I invite people to become more objective, not naive, objective. And objectivity has power. And this is why, you decide how long you're going to go for. For me, it was, I'm going to go for 5 years. And if everything I try and everything I experiment with still doesn't take off, my next question is, I asked myself 5 years ago, will I be able to recover? Will I be able to pick up my life and say, whoops, that didn't work. But you know what? It helped me to become this. It helped me to become that. It helped me to develop this. And look at the skills, look at the experiences, look at this journey. And that's worth the journey. And the second question, will I able to pick myself up and start again? And this is type of conversations I like to have with people, you guys, and because the worst thing you can do is to, not the worst thing you can do, of course, it's a little bit, but it's almost like when you are beginning to hike Mountain Everest and you don't fully sit down and evaluate the level of training that is required of you to hike the mountain Everest, right? You only read it in magazines, you watch some YouTube videos, you talk to people who hike the mountain, but you don't objectively evaluate your physical health, your resilience, your endurance, your mental health, your foundation, right? So I see entrepreneurship as like Mountain Everest. Absolutely. And your ability to raise, your endurance level with each level of altitude you take on. And it's going to be in stages. It's absolutely going to be in stages, right? You guys, so run from the marketing promises that tell you a pie in the sky in 90 days or 9 months or whatever. I see from my perspective, give yourself 5 years. If you're starting a new vision or something, if you're just embarking on the path of entrepreneurship, if you're a seasoned entrepreneur and you pivot in the new direction, I would say give yourself at least 12 months. At least 12 months. But and then you can breathe. You make peace with that, and then you can breathe. You're like, okay, what can I do? What freelancing jobs I can take, or what kind of income? How can I create, manifest, strategize a consistent source of income so I don't go into panic mode or desperation mode? So, but I promise you guys 5 steps, right? 5 steps. The very first step is how to unlock your entrepreneurial badassness so you can navigate any entrepreneurial dark night of the soul. Is making your foundation strong. Making your foundation strong. How it looks like, how I understand it, you guys. Number 1 is if you have relationships in your life, husband, wife, significant other, children, who are not an entrepreneurial journey with you, you gotta have a very heart-to-heart conversation with them and help them understand that you are training for Mount Everest. You're not training for a little hike in the local woods. You're about to take on a big mission, your life's calling. And it's almost like the very first enrollment you gotta do is in your own home. So for those of you who are single people, hello guys, you gotta enroll the voices in your head, right? You gotta enroll those voices of constriction. You gotta have an enrollment conversation with your own mind and say, hey mind, I hear all the voices, but do you know my why? You gotta have the dialogue with yourself. But if you have a family, if you have the family commitments, it's so key, you guys, and continue to re-enrolling them into helping them to support you. And are they willing to support you? Emotionally, number 1, spiritually, number 2, right? Psychologically. And vulnerability is power on that. How it showed up in my life, you guys. For the longest time, I did not tell my mother about entrepreneurial journey that I was on. I just figured she would not understand it because in Russia, entrepreneurship really doesn't, very few people understand the concept of entrepreneurship, how we have it here in Russia. So for the longest time, I would say, Mom, I'm just writing a book. First couple of years, which were the hardest, usually is 2 years are the hardest. I would say the big part of people who embark on entrepreneurship path quit somewhere first 2 years because they're just challenging. They're really, really challenging. So first 2 years, I just kept saying, Mom, I'm writing a book. And I remember, it's truth, you guys, 100% truth. Because I just kind of decided that my mom would not be able to understand. And then eventually, during those 2 years when it was becoming really challenging and I was going through such trials by fire, that I finally let my mother in. And I said, Mom, the reason that I haven't gone to Russia visit you, it's not because I don't want to see you. And I basically let my vulnerability to reestablish connection with my mother. And I let my mom to see me how difficult it was for me. You know, how lonely it was, how difficult it was, how inadequate I felt, right? I couldn't figure this part out, that part out, and it was so frustrating. And let my mother see that. And I also asked for a very specific way how she could support me. I said, Mom, you know what would really support me? If you just understand that it's going to be a while until I come to see you, and I love you, just send me good positive energy. So really, really powerful thing, you guys, is to let your family in through your vulnerability. Don't be the freaking hero. I got this. I got this. Okay, you got this most of the time, but a lot of times you don't get it. You know what I mean? Let your loved ones in and, take them with you to some conferences, to some events, but let them see the world that you are in and that you are creating, and most likely that you're creating so your family can thrive, right? So you're not only creating for yourself, but also for the family. So this was a really, really key distinction for me, you guys, is allowing your loved ones to see you in your vulnerability, and then they will celebrate your wins in such bigger way because they saw you when you were uncertain, and it creates just a deeper connection and deeper intimacy. So the second point is know your fears so you can transcend them. So a different stage of your path, you're going to experience different fears, right, you guys? And you cannot change what you don't own. If you can own it, you can change it. I just recently shared this message, but it's good to repeat it, right? So I believe entrepreneurship is one of the most accelerated path towards spiritual awakening. Abso-freaking-lutely. This is the reason for me, there is no other path. Like, this is the path that I'm on, and I'm fully embracing how it's going to change and how many times I will pivot. And every time I pivot, a new fear comes up, and to examine your fears, to get to know them, to really get to know them. Because if you don't know your fears, you will never be able to transcend them. You transcend your fears through accepting them. One of the fears that I'm getting to know, you guys, is the fear of what my peers will think. What my peers will think. Get to know that fear. Because with the growth of your business, your audience will shift. The more you step into the thought leadership, first stage is leadership. Second stage, you really begin to see yourself, wow, I'm here to be a thought leader, right? So you begin to attract more and more of your peers, right? People who are in the same arena with you, different fields, but your peers. It's really, really powerful point where you find yourself in your evolution as an entrepreneur, as a teacher, as a guide, as a mentor, as a coach, as an influencer, whatever you want to call it. You surround yourself with your peers, and it's very exhilarating because you begin to work with advanced people, and you can really do your masterful work with people who are advanced, who can take in everything you want to pour in, right? But it comes with fears, you guys. Am I enough? Am I enough? Like every time I get on this live stream, in the beginning, it's a little bumpy every single time, you guys. Some of you may notice it, some of you may not, but I know it internally, right? And energy is running through me, and I don't know if what I'm saying is relevant for you. Are you engaged? I trust that. Here to be an open channel. And I get to witness the voice. Am I enough? Is it good enough? Is it relevant? Witness it and let it go. And stay present here in spite of the fear. Right? Or you're invited to speak. So many people here who are speakers. You're invited to speak. in the room of people who are 20 years your senior, right? Powerful CEOs or powerful doctors or whatever. And that fear will come up. So better get to know that fear, to examine it, to find the root of it, you know, and really to see it. Wow. Fear comes with the vehicle of the physical body, right? It's just there. And the only way to transcend fear is to accept it. To accept it. So being with that, you guys. Point number 3, how are you receiving this, you guys? Peers, yeah, working on that now, powerful. Exactly. Yeah, you guys, peers, it means you are really, really playing at the right level. If you don't have that fear, you are still, you're holding yourself back. You start attracting your peers, whoa, your best work will come from that. Just my perspective, you guys, just my perspective. You know, it's like you're unleashing something so real. You're letting go what people will think, and you just focus on the message and service, holding presence with people. Your ability to see the soul behind the title, behind the role, behind the significance. Can you see the soul? Yeah. Point number 3, know your weak areas and make them strong. Know your weak areas and make them strong. It's almost like, you know, you guys, finding that voice in your head, in your mind, that says, well, I am just not a good XYZ. It's like the biggest voice of an excuse, right? I am just not a good marketer. I am not a good salesperson. I am not good in creativity. I'm going to give you a substitution phrase. Every time you catch yourself in that dialogue, you can say, up until this moment, I had an idea about myself that I wasn't good at XYZ. I see myself differently now. And I choose to get good at this. I choose to get amazing at this. I choose to get excellent at this, no matter how long it's going to take me. And be willing to be awkward and uncomfortable and at times deeply insecure. Because once again, you guys, you know, if you study any adult learning, my dharma and my life purpose this incarnation is to be a teacher, right? So I'm always fascinated, how can I become more effective teacher? And I work with adults. I don't work with children. I work with adults. And one of the things how I see helping adults learn is to pacify those fears and insecurities. When you begin something new, you're not going to be good at it right away. And you know how many people stop because they cannot bear the discomfort of not being good at something right away because they've developed mastery in other arenas. But you got to be uncomfortable and not be good for a while when you develop a new skill. You know, for example, if you guys decide to learn how to play piano, you're 35 years old, 37 years old, you decide to learn how to play piano. Well, you got to see a progress. You're not going to see a progress for the first several few months unless you're really, really gifted naturally, right? And how many times you'll want to leave the lessons and walk away and don't even touch it anymore because it's deeply uncomfortable in the body not to feel good at something as an adult, right? So it all comes back to, can you be with uncomfortable feelings in your body and accept them? Yeah, this is how it feels. You know, my conversation, I have a lot of conversations in my own head, right? So a lot of times I'll be like, yep, this is how it feels when I feel really insecure about something. Let me find it in the body. Let me be with this feeling. Let me accept it. Let me witness it. Let me accept it. Lean into the discomfort. That's right. That's right, you guys. You know what I mean? It's real talk. But every time you have this acceptance moment, you transcend that fear, you transcend that insecurity. And and you also know how it feels in your body. Then I can promise you guys, it's only a matter of time. Somebody will come to you with this specific challenge, this specific problem, and you'll be able to relate and use the right words to describe how it feels in the body because you just went through it. Yeah. Number 4 is one of my favorite. Number 4 is one of my favorite, darlings. Risk, respect. Write this down. It's a whole loop. Risk, respect. So it doesn't matter if you're shifting gears, if you're going in transition from one part of your brand, to a new expression, right? Transition is very, very healthy. I think it's very devastating when you build something that works, but you're deeply unfulfilled and you're afraid to let it go, right? I say don't demolish it. Don't demolish it. There is no need for that. But begin to create a new channel of expression for yourself, right? Allow what you've built to support you. That's all right. But begin to bring this new you. So point number 4, risk, respect. Somebody said in the comments, Katerina, I've put a lot of foundations this year. It's time for me to claim my spot in the world. It's time for me to go. And I thought it was really, really powerful and really honest comment. I believe it's called, I believe her name is Emily from Australia. So you guys, risk, respect. You know, I got to experience that in my own journey with the very first high-end retreat that I offered. I took big risk. I put everything on the line for that vision. I said, screw this. You know what? There's never going to be a time where I will feel confident and ready and everything, all my ducks in the row. I have a vision. It's burning in my heart. I see other leaders and thought leaders in my field who are leading incredible events. And I wanted to do an event for so long, you guys. And I remember I went all in, you know, I announced this retreat, and I didn't do a small little workshop. I went high ticket, high end retreat, you know, just the crazy Russian style. I took a lot of risks. You know, there was a risk of public failure, right? Because once you bring a public vision, the voice of constriction will become really loud. What if nobody comes? What if people come and you don't deliver? And you know, what if? And you hear lots of what ifs. What it taught me, you guys, when you bring a passionate vision that will require every single part of you to go in, you know, you'll take a big risk. The amount of respect that you will gain with that risk is just, you have to live through it to experience it. You have to live through it. And whenever you take big risks, always anticipate difficulty in the beginning. This is one of my favorite insights to share with others. If you make peace that with every new risky and big vision, there is always going to be difficulty in the beginning. This comes from Tao Te Ching. Tao Te Ching, difficulty in the beginning. If you accept that, and just know that the bigger the risk, the bigger the respect. So when I did my very first high-end retreat, just put everything on the line, it put my business on the map in a completely new way. Because when you start leading events, start creating your own retreats, running a kind of a group experience where you bring your creativity, bring your audacity, your community will see you in what you offer in a completely new light. Completely new light, you guys. So what is the risk that you know you're ready to take, but you're not taking? Because there is a fear of messing up publicly, right? Checking who is joining. Remember, risk, respect, risk, respect. And if you have a desire in your heart to eventually step into arena of a thought leadership, you begin to take those risks on a regular basis. Because thought leadership requires you speaking the message that's burning in your heart. And a lot of people will not be on board with that. And that's okay. So you got to be okay with disappointing some people, right? You got to be okay with polarizing people. Yeah. So risk, respect. Remember that, you guys. Remember that. It's so funny every time I do these live streams, you guys. I set an intention. I share this with you many, many times. I set an intention. I usually do some chanting to clear the mind. I really, really love chanting. It all connects. I promise I'll connect the chanting with entrepreneurship. But you know, it's like find whatever works for you to cleanse your mind on a daily basis when you are on the path of entrepreneurship. Your real estate of the mind, right? You have a real estate in your mind. It always wants to be filled by what you see other people do. You know, comparison game is so brutal, right? So brutal. Like one of my spiritual teachers told me, said, Katerina, the more you expand into your galactic assignment, the more you have to really watch out for this comparison monster. You cannot compare your journey with anybody else. This is your mission. This is your journey. So your ability to cleanse your mind on a daily basis, emptying it up. For me, you guys, I found chanting works. And I've known about mantras for like 10 years, but they didn't call me until just recently. And something about the repetition of the sacred sound brings me personally into the present moment. And when you do mantras, it's a language of energy. It's not affirmations. Affirmations work on your subconscious mind, and I believe in those 100%. I think affirmations are very, very useful. But what I love about mantras, you guys, oh, look who it is. Yvonne is here. Yeah, when Yvonne and I came into collaboration and alliance, of course, mantras came because Yvonne is like a walking mantra. Yeah, right, Yvonne? You're like an embodiment of mantra. But you guys find your way. What helps you to cleanse your mind? Because your mind will be busy with creative ideas and with the voices of constriction. And you got to let go of the voices of constriction on a daily basis, sometimes a few times a day. For me, what works is journaling in the morning. I have what they call emotional processing pages, where I get up, you know, do my rituals, and I write for 2 pages. Anything and everything that wants to flow. I don't censor it. I don't even read it, you know, for a few days. I just allow all the thoughts, non-spiritual thoughts, negative thoughts, right? Just dump them on the paper. And if you have a very highly developed intellectual mind, I can guarantee you, you have a very loud mind. So empty it up, empty it up. Unless you've been practicing mantras like Yvonne, then you have a still mind, right? And so you guys, that always helps me, is to let go. And mantras, if it calls you, for me it's three times a day. I sit down by my altar and I cleanse my mind, utilizing the language of sacred sounds, energetic language, to remind me about my essence, about why I'm here, what's my big assignment. Yeah, perfect. Emotional processing. And keeping your foundation, already covered that. Enrolling your family members, there's a power of enrollment. Enrollment is such a powerful word, right? It is your ability to ignite a spark of possibility in another human being. That's how I see enrollment. Your ability to ignite a spark of possibility in another human being. I like this. There's this book called The Art of Possibility. It's so amazing, you guys. It's written by a husband and wife who, which, just to have a book that's written by both husband and wife is an incredible experience. A husband is a conductor of an orchestra, and the wife is a writer, and they both decided to share stories, from their life. It's very, very inspirational. But they share this one story. The book is called The Art of Possibility. You guys, it's magnificent. There is many stories that you can take and utilize in your teachings, right? But one of them, they said that in the Middle Ages, people didn't have lighters, right? They didn't have matches. They had fire, right? So imagine in the Middle Ages, you're walking around on the street and people carried little flames in the tiny metal boxes. So you would have your own flame, you would walk on the street, and let's say your flame would go out. Well, the only way you would get your flame back is from somebody that you meet on the street who is willing to light your flame again, igniting that spark. And I really, really love that story because, you guys, this is how I see the path of entrepreneurship, igniting the sparks of possibility in others, tending to your flame, knowing who to ask for ignition when your flame goes out, because it will. The dark night of the soul of your business will come, will absolutely come. And your ability to welcome that, to welcome confusion, uncertainty, and unknown, and allow the other people in, being vulnerable in your journey is so, so powerful. The art of possibility. Yeah, darlings. And it's the main thing is to continually expand how you see yourself. Continually to expand that. Because it's the vision of how you see yourself will be able to pull you forward. No matter what dark night of the soul you're going through. So seeing yourself as an entrepreneur, right? Seeing yourself as, wow, I'm developing all these skills. And yes, I'm going to feel awkward every time I pivot in a new direction. Every time I'm being asked by my higher self to examine the weak areas of my life or my business and to make them strong. So how you see yourself. You guys, one of the skills that I was developing a few years back, 3 years ago to be exact. I was determined to master this mysterious, at that time, ability to ignite the spark of possibility in others. The art of enrollment, or let's call it the art of sales. It was such like a climbing Mount Everest for me. And I come from sales background, you guys. Right? But it's different when you make an offering of your gift. It's very different than when you sell somebody else's product. When you begin to offer your gift and your genius and your service, it feels like you're offering your entire self-worth. And it's very difficult to kind of separate that in the beginning. In the beginning, it's all meshed into one. Somebody said no to you, oh, you can't recover for a week, right? And this is what I'm saying, you guys, is in the beginning, when an adult learns a new skill, there is such a high possibility of giving up because of the deep discomfort of feeling so awkward in the beginning and feeling insecure about your abilities, because you have no abilities in this new skill in the beginning, right? So you see, I'm bringing a little bit of humor to light it up, because if you are an entrepreneur, you're on this path, you will continue to learn new skills. Otherwise, you become irrelevant really fast, and your creativity will stagnate, and you're not going to grow. So that just comes with the path, right? Continually learning new skills. Maybe it's a speaking, maybe it's running events, maybe it's leadership, maybe it's negotiations. And you know, like the more I became at peace, like, hey, in the beginning of any new skill, I'm gonna feel awkward. I'm gonna feel a bit of insecurity, and I will want to quit many, many times. So examining that and being at peace with that, I am so much more prepared for the journey. Right? Right, you guys. It's so true. Objections. Yeah, making an offering. You know, and then you just, but ultimately it's how you see yourself, right? How you see yourself. So if you see yourself as a force for good, Yvonne likes to call those, it's really, really powerful. You know, they're seeing yourself as a force for good. You know, like I look at everything I do, everything I commit to, or everything I will align myself with through the lenses of the next 10 years, the most rapid ascension process, evolutionary shift of consciousness of the collective. Whoa, what a powerful time to be alive. What a powerful time to be on purpose. What a powerful time to be in service. And I also understand and remember that the higher, that the cities, right, these higher aspects of divinities are looking for the vessels, available vessels to incarnate in. So I'm available for service, right? Available for service, available for guidance. And I also, with my availability for service, I choose to take responsibility to develop the skills that can ground my service in the world. It's like two sides of the same coin, right? So I take on this responsibility as a noble task. And yeah, sometimes I will be kicking and screaming and crying by my altar. That's all right. You know, give yourself permission to do that. But it's all about, are you willing to take another step, no matter how uncomfortable and insecure you will feel at times. And you guys, there's something else that wanted to come through. Maybe I'll look at your comments. The wisdom bombs. Yeah, Ivan. And I also showed the little clip of the poem in the beginning. So, darlings, and then isolation is not healthy, right? I know it intellectually. You probably know it intellectually. But there is a great seduction to isolate when you build your dream. Really, really great seduction. So allow yourself to become very selective who you connect with, right? Like I say, more no than yes. Thank you and no. It's probably would be really lovely. Let me feel into this and no, right? But the people who are on the same level with you, who are also doing something really courageous and bold and for the benefit of all humanity. Create the time for those people. Create the time for people you spend time with them, and you want to be your very best self naturally. Naturally, you're around them. So this is really, really powerful, you guys. What your social support, right? And that's why in the very beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, I invested heavily into conferences. In 2015, I went really extreme obsessive. I went to 30 different events, like 30, you guys. I was like, I'm gonna go. And I think the reason I did that is because I so needed transformative containers. I so wanted to be around people who are already so much further on the path than me. And every month I would go to a different event, sometimes twice a month. I don't do this anymore. I don't think it's really necessary to go to so many events. I became more selective. I go to smaller events, more intimate. I love immersions. But if your environment is not very supportive, you're like regular environment, right? Create your visionary incubation containers where you go, you're connected with that big vision, why you started in the first place. So yeah, you guys, it's powerful, right? And the final tip that I'll share with you is really learning to trust each moment. I believe entrepreneurship and living your calling, entrepreneurship, the same thing. Living your calling will require you to develop a completely new relationship with the present moment. Living your calling will require you to trust each moment. When you surrender your life to the service of the collective, you begin to see that you are not the dancer dancing on the stage called life. You see life is dancing you. You become that dancer lost in a dance, trusting each move, each song, each redirection. And then time ceases to exist for you. Then you let go of how long it's going to take you to arrive somewhere, because you already arrived every moment. So you redefine relationship with the present moment. And when you can do that, your genius naturally will spontaneously arise in the moment. You'll begin to trust, I don't need to know. I can just really trust this moment. And when the dark night of the soul in your business will arrive, right? It's going to help you to trust each moment even deeper. And you'll begin to welcome miracles that can happen next moment, the next moment, because you're open to them. Yeah, darling. So I see there is a great opportunity, for all of us. If you have a higher calling, if you know that your fulfillment comes through contributing, through living your truth, from living your message, then you can see developing yourself in other arenas as a noble task. And you get excited and you get inspired. And when you lose your motivation, you lose your focus, you come back where? You come back to why you started in the first place. And this is why, in the beginning of this video, I shared with you that I really took that process in. Like, yeah, it looks like I want freedom. It looks like I'm motivated by freedom, but it's deeper than that. It's who am I going to become during this journey? Because that nobody can take away from you. Whatever Matrix will do, all these clown shows that we see in the Matrix, you can witness it with the inner smile. Because your inside is untouchable. You can trust your mastery, you can trust your skills, you can trust your willingness to continue to learn, to continue to expand. Yeah, coming back to the why, you guys, it is. It's absolutely the truth, you know. And I would also invite you at least once a month to journal your big mission statement and look at it through the lenses of when I'm 80 years old and I look back at this day of my life when I was writing my biggest mission statement, what would I write? So you continually take yourself, you know, away from your normal daily task to a bigger perspective. And that's going to give you the courage and resilience to continue on the path. Yeah. Clown shows. Yeah, Jennifer. Yeah, I just call all politics clown shows. I really do. The Matrix expressions of that. And there's some good people in every arena who really do good work. I just don't. I don't think that's my area of service, you know, and I'm very clear on that. But yeah, you guys, you love it. People say, I'm loving this. I see a lot of comments, surrender and trust. Yeah. And, you know, just remember the dark night of the soul in your business is nothing to fear. It's actually going to be the stripping away of all the masks and all the false identities that really help you to a point. And, you know, especially after you surrender your life to service, it's a pivotal moment. I will never forget. For me, it was May 2016, during my biggest void, biggest initiation to surrender. I felt everything was stripped away from me, for me. Everything was stripped away for me. Everything that was too small, everything that was too limiting. So it's a powerful process. It can be disorienting, and you will find your true orientation, your ability to stay calm in chaos, your ability to trust that chaos is a signal of innovative energy coming to you. Yeah, so you see, I believe the entrepreneurship can be a really powerful spiritual experience. You know, and it can be, you know, there's a great opportunity for us to stabilize fifth dimensional frequency and new earth paradigm, right, in our bodies through our lives. That our inner wealth is reflected in our outer wealth, our inner mastery reflected in our outer mastery, right? So if commitment is that, if commitment is I choose my inner mastery to mirror my outer mastery, or I choose my outer mastery, whatever that is, right? As within, so without. If you commit to mastery, then you know that mastery only looks effortless. You know, whatever looks effortless, if you see a great dancer, like a ballet dancer, you know, I just took the bar lesson, barely made it, you guys. I was like, I'm so glad I was not a ballerina when I was a little girl, because this is hours and years of getting just one move right, right? So mastery, when you watch a ballet and they like flying from one corner of the stage to another, like it's no big deal. Mastery only looks effortless, and behind that effortlessness is discipline and plateau, discipline and plateau, right? So you discipline to reach a certain level, then you hit the plateau, and staying in that plateau, feeling deeply uncomfortable in it, and continuing with your discipline. That's where mastery is sculpted. That's where mastery is sculpted. But you know, look at our world, right? The instant gratification, where plateau is really not popular subject. It's not welcomed, it's ignored, it's not being talked about. But plateau is a key to mastery. and you're willing to stay in that plateau and to recommit and to say, what is my weak area? And I'm going to master it. No matter if I'm going to be at this plateau. Plateau is when you don't see the progress. Progress is happening on a much, much deeper level. Sometimes, you can be plateau in one stage of your life is because you're rewiring your belief system. When you're rewiring your belief system, it takes time, right? How you see yourself, the new choices that you make, and this deep, deep, profound change is happening on a very, very deep level. And your external life doesn't look like it's changing anything. But then if you stay with that, you guys, the breakthrough is just around the corner. And that one breakthrough, your entire life just goes shoo, complete pivot. So, wow. You guys, how long did I go? Can anybody tell me? Has it been an hour? Because I like, Kyle says, disorienting to the mind, but reorienting to the soul. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I really love that. Soul reorientation. Because your soul reorientation is towards unity. Mind, duality. And duality is a game that we get to play here, right? It's not bad. It's just a part of the experience. But your soul will always guide you towards unity. Even in your darkest, darkest hour, if you remember that, everything stripped away, people disappear, move, shift, relationships go through death and rebirth cycle, whatever that is. If my soul is leading me towards deeper unity, towards oneness, and I can let go and trust. And while I'm letting go and trust, I do my part, my noble task of discipline and developing my skill, that one day I can be effortless in my mastery. One day I can be that dance through which life dances me. Oh, thank you, Bobby. 1 hour, 6 minutes. Guys, this is what's been on my heart. There is no call to action in this live stream. And if you require one, it would be to connect with your why. And this is the most important work. One more thing I'll share with you guys. I actually found a letter that I wrote to myself 3 years ago. And I really encourage you to do this process. These practices, they're good to talk about them, but they're really, really profound when you do them. So about 3 years ago, I wrote myself a letter. And I wrote myself 3 years ago to the woman that I am becoming, to an entrepreneur that I am becoming. And I put it in the envelope and I hid it between hundreds of my books, right? I have tons of books. And I just hid it. I said, probably in 3 years, I will be moving somewhere and I'll be packing my books and one day I'll find that letter. And exactly how it happens. And you guys, it's so profound when you read a letter from yourself several years ago and where you see the level of development of your consciousness. When I read the fears that I wrote about 3 years ago, the feeling not supported, feeling alone, being really afraid to stand up and say, this is my calling. This is what I feel I'm here to do and to be and to serve. It was really powerful to see such a radical growth in yourself. But oftentimes, it's very hard to see in yourself. And if you don't see it in yourself, it's so easy to get discouraged. So write letters to yourself. Connect with your big why. And see this journey as a journey to mastery, not as a journey to, I think that's it, journey to mastery. Mastery only looks effortless. So I hope this was inspiring to you guys. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I believe how we will change the world is from the inside out, one sovereign heart at a time. One heart that believes, you know what, it's possible for me too. I'm a divine sovereign being, and I'm here to bring the new earth and the new paradigm. And I'm here to be a model for others what is possible, no matter how low and humble my beginnings, no matter what I have at hand to begin with. I begin each task as a noble task. And I bring all my heart and all my commitment to every step of the journey. So much love. And once again, if you find this video useful, please share it with people who will find inspiration through this. And thank you guys for not giving up on your dreams. No matter how many voices you hear in your head, you chose this incarnation for a reason. There's nothing random about your incarnation during this time. So take a deep honor in your journey, no matter how long it's going to take. And this is Gracie. She just wanted to say hi with all the lights. We sending you big, big hugs and much love. And animals are also very, very healthy for entrepreneurs, you guys. Yeah, it's a little bit of a commitment, but it's so much healing they bring you. So much healing. So I love you. God bless you.